using right now is called Google Hangouts, and this is where if you're doing a presentation for your class, wanting to do like a flipped classroom or have something to go home to the parents, it doesn't necessarily have to show your face. What I'm going to do right now is called a screen share, and I'm going to say I want to share my entire desktop and share screen. Now it looks all crazy, but what the audience sees is what you're looking at right now. Mr. Warner, go ahead and sign in. We're just now getting started, and we'll catch you up if we need to. So now what the audience is seeing, they hear me, because you can see that little microphone, the little green down here at the bottom going, and they can see whatever you guys are looking at. So it's a really quick, cool way to record any lessons that you have. It's also fun to record things that are going on in your classroom, etc. It's a great way for doing parent conferences. If parents can't come in, they could use their phone. They could download the Google Hangout app, and you could do parent conferences that way with your parents. So there's lots of different things, and we can have a lesson on that later. But if you're interested. But right now we're going to just talk about Google Drive, and specifically today Google Docs, how to create the Google Docs, name them, share them, collaborate, and then this is my thing. How do I find that document again? Because one of the things is I'll make a file and then I'm like, where is this file? And Ms. McCollum, just click link data on your computer.
I have a question.
Yes.
If we already have documents, Word documents, can we save them as a Google Doc?
Yes, that's a really good question. And so let me take you out and show you that. Right in, here's all my mail in here. So coming out over here, that's a really good question. Did everyone hear what? All right, so if you already have files you've made, because all of us have been teaching for a while, we've got files we've made in Microsoft Word, and what are we going to do when we move over to a MacBook that doesn't have the Microsoft Office suite? So what you would do is on the left-hand side of your screen, there's a red button that says New. And Ms. McCollum, if you click on those little dots on the right-hand side next to your name, that's the menu. Yeah, and then go down to Drive. That's going to get you right into Google Drive where we are. And yeah. And Mr. Warner, holler if you need me. Okay, right. All right, so right here, when you click on New, you've got several options. You can create a folder, and I'm going to show you the folder I've created for you in just a minute. You can upload files, and if I happen to be in Google Chrome right now, I would see upload entire folders. Personally, I don't recommend you upload entire folders if you know for sure everything in that folder is something you need. It can become overwhelming, and I've seen teachers try to just upload everything they have on their teacher server drive or on a memory stick. What I would do instead is, as you use that document with kids, upload it into Google. And you have a choice when you do that file upload. You go out and find the document wherever it is, and you have a choice to convert it into the Google format or leave it in its original format. I usually bring it up in its original format, and then I also convert it into Google. So I have the original if I need the original, and then I have the Google format one because I can make edits to the Google format one, but I wouldn't be able to edit the one in Word. So we can get into that and show you how to do that.
Like documents that we've created ourselves, you're
using like Microsoft Word?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we will put it in a Google Docs format.
Right.
And you save it both?
I do, just because I like to have that original there in case I need it for something. But then I have the Google one, because then with the Google one you can edit it if you need to. Yeah. But link that. Yeah, good. All right. Okay, I got it. And then click on the little dots next to your name on the right hand side, and then click on Drive. Perfect. And click on the blue button that says take me to the new Google or whatever, new Drive. And then just X out of that, welcome to the new Drive. Okay, so that's how you would upload it. And like I said, I would upload it as you use it. if you know that's something you're going to use from year to year. All right, so I do have a folder here, so I need all of you to go out to, we're going to use this little URL right here. If you just click on a new tab, don't close down what you have, but click on a brand new tab, and we're going to type in http:// snap, S-N-A-P, as in snapping your fingers. Oh, you will. We don't have that one. :// just like this. / snap, S-N-A-P, dot, V, as in victory, and U, / numeral 3, numeral 3, lowercase y, numeral 4, lowercase e, and then press enter. What this is going to do is it's going to put into, say it aloud if it asks you. And then up in the top right hand corner, there's a blue button that says Add to Drive. Go ahead and click on that, and then Open in Drive. What this does is it puts our folder, our Tech Tuesday folder, right into your Google Drive. And you can just X out when it says Welcome to the new Google Drive. And so now you're inside of our folder. You have access to the agenda that I printed out for you. You have access to the PowerPoint that I'm showing you right now. And every time we do anything for Tech Tuesday, I will make it inside of this folder. And that way, even if you can't attend the session, you'll still have access to the documents. Okay? Did you get yours to pull up there? Yeah. So there's your Tech Tuesday folder. And so it's really easy now for me to share documents with you anytime I want to by just dropping them into this folder, because now you have the folder. And so think about how you could use that with the students as well. And now that you're inside of that folder, you have the agenda. So let's take a look now. And I'm going to get out of that. So let's take a look now at how we create a brand new Google Doc. And we can go ahead and do this inside of the folder. So make sure that you are looking at something similar to what I have up here, to where you can see all these documents. All right, so to create a new Google Doc, Google Docs is very similar to Microsoft Word. It works in a very similar manner. You're just going to go to the New button, that red button on the left-hand side that says New, and you're just going to go down to where it says Google Docs, and it has kind of like a blue icon that looks like white lines on there. So go ahead and click on that. It's going to say, okay, this item's going to be shared in this folder. Well, that's okay. Just go ahead and click OK. Yeah, and then go to New, the red button, New, and Google Docs. Why is it being so? Is it doing that to y'all too? I know why. I know why. Because I didn't make it shareable. So let's, live and learn. Okay, let's see. Google Docs practice. Let's do this. So what I'm doing right now is creating a folder really quick inside of that folder. And I'm going to make this folder shareable. Anyone with this can edit. So done. All right, so let's try it again. Let's open up that new folder that says Google Docs Practice. Is it in there now? Do you see that folder, Google Docs Practice? Yeah, double click on that Google Docs Practice folder, and let's see if it's going to let us make that Google Doc now. So go to the red button on the left, New, and Google Docs. Yeah, double click right there. Right there. Good job. Okay, so now, take a look at this. Yeah, just say okay. So take a look at this. Look along the top of it, and you're going to see that you have a lot of the similar features that you have in Microsoft. But the most important thing to start with is up in the top left-hand corner where it says Untitled Document. Let me make sure I'm going down and not missing anything. All right, red button, Google Docs. And this we found out in 3rd and 4th grade, now that we've gone one-to-one. This is one of the most important things to tell your kids to do and to train your students to do immediately every time they create something is to title it. Otherwise, as a teacher, you're going to get a bunch of documents in that are called Untitled Document, and that's going to drive you insane as a teacher. So we can just call this whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call mine Google Practice or Google Doc Practice, Google Docs Practice. But you can certainly name it anything at all that you want to. And then you just click the Done button, the blue button, and it takes you back here. So you have your normal menu icons, or yeah, up here you have the File, Edit, View, Insert, the formats, different tools, and I'm going to show you an add-on and what add-ons are before you leave out of here today. But go ahead and just type something, anything. I'm just going to type my name, and then just play around with it. When you want to change something, you highlight it. So if I wanted the font to be different, fonts are something teachers absolutely love, right? So you can highlight what you've typed and click up there at the top where it says, I think mine says RL. I think that's what it's defaulted to. You go up to underneath, it's kind of underneath Table and Add-ons, and you see it by a number for the font size. You can go all the way down to the bottom where it says More Fonts, and you can actually look for more fonts than what you have available in your library at that particular time. So you can even come in here and find different fonts that you want. Like maybe I want this one for bubblegum. I'm just going to click on the one I want and then click OK, and now that's part of my library, my font library. I can change the size of it. I can come in and make it bold, italicized, underline. I can even change the text color. I can highlight by clicking on that little A that's there by the bold, italics, and underline. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes. Let's say, let's just say 1 minute, okay? Online classroom timer. To just mess around with working in that and changing the fonts and getting used to that, and that's going to give me a minute to come around and answer any individual questions. And the kids love coming in and changing the fonts and the colors. See how to highlight, how it's different there? You can do different things. Did you see where you could pick more fonts up here too? Go down there. So that's really cool too. Yeah. The fonts and see how you can change the color. And notice you had text and highlight up here. So if you wanted to highlight, you click on highlight. If you wanted to change the actual color of the letters, you click on text. And so there's lots of different things that you can do there. Yeah, and then you've got that more fonts down at the bottom. Isn't that pretty cool? You've got all those different fonts. Wow. Me too. I would lose myself playing with fonts. And it's so much fun. All right, and there's our timer on that. So I know it's not a lot of time to play in it, but I think you get the gist of how that works, right? Those different commands and everything. So the next thing I want to take and show you, which is what I like the most about Google, is being able to share and collaborate on a document together. Whether it's students working on a document together, or if it's you working on a document with another teacher to develop a lesson plan or whatever it might be. How many of you have ever worked on something with someone else and you've had to email your parts back and forth to each other as it's changed, right? That's annoying. It's really horrible. And then you can't remember now, was this the last? Is this the last update or was this the last update? So if you're working together on something like a Google Doc, you're both actually typing and writing on the same document together. Pretty crazy, huh? So if you don't mind, I'm going to have the two of you share with each other, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. And I'm going to have the three of you share with each other. Is that okay? Oh, you know what? How about the two of you right here, and then you and I will share. How about that? And then that way we're all in pairs. So watch up here what I'm going to do. We're going to do the watch, and then we're going to do the watch and do. Okay? So in the top right-hand corner, there's a blue button that says share. Everything you make or upload to Google is private until you make it not private. Now this, even though you made it, is not private because you made it inside of a folder I made for you, right? So what that means is if you make a folder for an assignment for your kids and you tell them this is what our 3rd and 4th grade teachers do, they say go to the red folder, open up the red folder in your Google Drive. The kids open up the red folder. Their next direction is to make a Google slide or make a Google Doc like we did today. And that allows the teacher to be able to see everything her students are doing in real time. So that's really cool. But other than that, anything you make or upload into Google is going to be private until you make it not private.
Okay, if you put in a folder, only those kids that know to go to that folder. So it's private for that group.
Right, because it's only that group that can see it, because you're only allowing that group to have permissions to that folder. And there's different ways you can do it. Like, for instance, this one, I've allowed anybody at all with the link, anybody at all access to this folder can edit anything in there, okay? But I could change that to some other choices or some other choices, and I want you to take a look at some of these when we can see a little bit better when you do it on your own. But I love this Google Apps for Education. What this does is it puts that nice umbrella around everything you do so that it can't get outside of our school district. And it protects the kids in our school, protects them under that Child Internet Protection Act. So you'll notice when we come in and we do the do part instead of the watch part, you also have choices here that will say only people with a Limestone County School Google login can see this or can edit it. So if your kids, which they will try to be squirrely, and they'll try to send that link out to a friend of theirs on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever and say, hey, write something on this, you know, or put some picture on there or whatever. Well, if that kid doesn't have a login and is not logged in to their Limestone County school account, they won't be able to do anything at all with that link. The other good thing about this is, you know as well as I do, especially in the upper grades, that the kids will put things that are inappropriate on a document, thinking nobody's going to know it's me. Well, if you haven't marked that only people who signed in underneath the Limestone County School District Google account, that means they have to be signed in. It's going to have a real name. And it's going to show you exactly who put what on that document and exactly what day and what time they put on there. So, accountability. Some of the 3rd and 4th graders, when I showed them how that works, they were like, oh, that's stalking. And I said, no, it's called accountability, right? And so I like that this feature is here because that feature is not there in regular Google. You can share, you can edit, but somebody could edit it without being logged in with their real name, and you wouldn't know who made those changes. That's why you might sometimes see where it says anonymous up at the top. If you've ever looked at a document, it has those little buttons with animals on there. It says like an anonymous armadillo or something. That's because they're not signed in. So what I've done is I've given anybody the right to edit this. Yeah, and we're about to get into it.
Okay.
And then the next thing below that you could do besides that one, which is sending a link to somebody to use, is you could actually type in their email address and send it to them and decide this person can view it, edit it, or just comment on it. So you have several different choices. So what I want you to do is decide in your pairs who is going to share with who. Because only one person can share a document with somebody else. You could both share it, but that's kind of ridiculous for you to share it with you and vice versa. So in your teams or pairs, decide who's going to do the sharing, and I'm going to come around and show you how to share that document. Who wants to? Okay. So you're going to come up here to share. And probably the easiest way to do this in pairs would be to use the email. And so just go ahead and put in the email there, and we want to keep it in edit. Are you ready? There you go. Good. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nikki got Roberts. Okay, we got this. RABERT. Yeah, and add LCS. So, okay. And so, yeah, there. So now, to find it, go back over to your Google Drive, and I'm going to walk each one of you through this. So come to incoming. See that needs to share that with you. So now we're going to, oh, touch it now. It's okay. That's fine. I mean, I'll show you that. So now just put that. So now what I want the two of you to do in your pairs is to type different things on here. Also play with the comments buttons over there in the top right-hand corner and see what they do. And you're just in your same document. And so type, see, or play, okay, you see this right here for Michelle? You can see that Michelle's in this with you. You've got comments you can do, and you also have check marks you can use. So play with that. So you can play with this box too, or the comments, and then just type something on there, hi Doug, or whatever you want to say. Okay. And so play with those different aspects of that. Okay. So just put down right here. And we're going to come over here to the Google Drive. And we'll go to incoming. And Stephanie, look at this. Do you see right here where it says Stephanie? Yeah. You just put it right there and open it up. Okay? Incoming means someone sent it to you. All right? Certainly. No, you did. So, right, and so like this one, I'd have to be signed into my Limestone account to be able to edit it. Probably that one. Let's try that one and see. And go ahead and click in. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to type on it, and we're going to put a comments key, and there's going to be one more thing over there. So let me click on it so we can write with it. And then we might want to make this screen bigger by hitting that little box in the middle. But see now how you can see that Stephanie's joined in on there? And then you also got a little chat box, and you can do comments back and forth to each other. Now the kids love the comment feature because as a teacher, I can see what the kids are doing in real time, and I can also comment to them in real time. And they like that, and that builds a great relationship with your kids as well. And we know that relationship building and working together, let's see, is one of the keys to student success. So let's see. There we go. So now, do you see my name popping up?
You moved it all over.
Yay, you shared. And see, I can come in here and I can change the colors too if I want to, and different things.
Conversation we need to see.
Right. And so right here is a chat box. So look up there next to the R. the pink R, and click on that little word balloon right next to it. On the right-hand side of the R, no, at the very top right-hand corner.
Right-hand side of the oh, on that.
Yeah. Y'all are doing the chat box already. And also look at the comments feature. So,
Right.
so you
So
see,
it's
so we can also do a chat, kind of like what you would do on the cell phone or something like that, text message. I can say, and so notice we can talk back and forth. What's great about this is if your kids are working on a group project together, they can sit there and use the chat box to discuss, hey, why don't you do this part of the project? I'll work on this part of the project. And so even if they're sitting at home in their own living rooms and can't see each other, they can still have a conversation and work on that same document together.
So when you're chatting, you have to type it and then enter it.
Right, and then press enter. Oh, there you go. And so you can see exactly what time these messages have been sent and so forth. Then also look at the comments button. This is what I like. So think about as a teacher, how many of you have ever graded student papers? My parents were English teachers. Let's just start with that. My parents were English teachers, and I saw them killing themselves with their red pens, grading papers, going through, making the spelling corrections, putting the commas where they're supposed to be, blah, 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 writing those notes, then folding it in half and putting the grade on it. Well, all I know is that when I got those papers from my teachers, I saw the F on the outside of it and I threw it to the side. I never opened the paper and looked at that. So who was really doing the learning? The teacher with the red pen was the only one learning, not the student. So watch this feature with the comments. This is really awesome. So if I click up on the comments button, I can come in and I can highlight something. Like I could, you know, we haven't typed much, but I'll highlight something and then I come over to comments and I can say, Rebecca, I see 3 grammar errors in this sentence. Obviously, I'm making this up, right? Please fix them or please correct them. And then I click comment. Now, Rebecca, do you see that on your screen? Right, and what I was commenting on, is it highlighted on your screen? On your paper? Right, so instead of the teacher correcting everything and putting in here spelling errors and correcting and putting the commas in for you, they're highlighting a section and saying, I see 3 grammatical errors here, please fix this. Or I could highlight a portion. Hi, how are you? Hey. Or I could highlight a portion and say, I really like this, but could you develop your thesis? Hi, how are you? You could develop your thesis statement a little bit better. Please work on that. Do you see how that works?
Now, do you do the highlighting or does it automatically?
Good question. I come in and I'm the one who highlights, and then after I highlight, I click on comments, and then comments, and then when I make that comment is associated with whatever I highlighted. And then that puts it back in the kids field to make those corrections instead of you. And you can also add links in there if you want to. If you want to add a link to a video that can help them know how to write a better thesis statement or how to use a comma properly, you could add that in there, and then they have that to look at.
So you highlight it first.
Highlight it first.
And then go to comments.
Go out to comments, and then comments again. It does a little drop-down box. Yeah, comments. And now, and you might have to close your chat box to be able to see it.
I'm trying to misspell
Can you spell these words? Y'all are tripping me out. And so now you're just going to minimize your chat box, and now you can type in whatever you want to say back to your student. And the kids really do love this. I had a teacher over at Hoover who she could have retired any day she wanted to. She could have just said, I've had it, I'm walking out, I can retire, because she had that many years in. She was an English teacher. She fell in love with this. She goes, now you know I'm never going to be able to retire because this is great. And so her kids were working on a big essay project. She gave them the Google Docs in a folder just like I did, and she sat at her desk and she would pull up paper by paper by paper and comment on it and look at it as they were working on it to help them with their paper. That's formative assessment right there, because you're looking at it. You're not waiting until you get the final project to realize they didn't do anything right. Right. And, you know, this gives feedback and the kids love it. So you're hitting the top two things that lead to student success, which is forming a relationship by having those comments where, and they can actually comment back to you on the comments. They don't just have to use that chat box. And you're doing formative assessment all along the way. So there's never any surprise for you as a teacher as to whether your students are doing their work or not when you're using this. So for instance, see right here, I've changed my screen to where I can see all of your papers. So you're all my students. I can see every single one of your papers in real time. So instead of standing at the door as your kids come in and saying, Bobby, did you do your homework last night? I can say, Bobby, I can see that you didn't do your homework last night. Or Sally, I can see you haven't started working on your essay yet. Isn't it due in 2 days? Right? And so you don't have to guess what work they've done. And those little boogers who like to come in and do their work that morning before they get to your class, watch this. If I go to File, and this is another thing I absolutely love about Google, is I can go to File and see revision history, and I can see every single change that was made to the document. And notice it's color-coded, and it has the person's name outside beside it. So I can tell exactly who put what on the document, and it's also time and date stamped. So I can see if my little boogers did that in the class they had right before they came to my class. I can see what time they did it. And think about group work, because we're doing group work right now. How many of you have ever been in a group and you're the one who did the lion's share of all the work in that group? I have, right? And how do you grade your students on group work? How do you really know who did the work? Well, if you do it through Google, you can use that revision history, and you can see exactly who added what to the document, who contributed what to that document. And I've had teachers use this before for group grades, and it was so funny. I had one of our chemistry teachers showed me a group Google document, and she said, look at this kid right here in blue. They've only accessed this document one time during this entire project, and they didn't put a single thing on that document. Guess what I gave them? A 0. And she has the proof to back it up. And so that kid didn't earn anything for the group grade because they didn't do anything. They didn't contribute at all.
Okay, now where did you go to?
Go to File over on the left-hand side, that very first, and then down to Revision History. See Revision History. And you can go then down in the bottom right-hand corner, it says Show More Detailed Revisions. So you can see like almost minute to minute. The other nice thing about this for you guys, how many of you, and I know if you've been teaching as long as I have, this is my 23rd year, you have like 10 files of the same exact document, but you've made a few minor changes to each one of them. Do you have some of those? And then when you go in to use it, you're looking at the files going, oh, geez, I've got a file all named the same thing. Which is the one I made the latest addition to? Well, if you make it in Google, every time you make a change, you can just go to that revision history if you want to go back to an older version. So you've got one document, but all of your changes all in one place. So for instance, if let's say that, and this will inevitably happen in group, let's say some crazy person came in and deleted everything out, right? And you're left going, ah! All my work is gone. Or like what happened to me when I worked in a school district, you'd be working on those PCs, typing your heart away on an essay or whatever, and then the power would fluctuate and the computers would turn off. And if you hadn't pressed save, guess what? You lost everything. Google auto saves. And so now I'm like, okay, what person deleted everything? Well, I can come back in here and I can see where it's all crossed out, meaning it got deleted out, and notice the color that it's in. is the color of my name. And I can see exactly what kid at what time deleted everything out of there.
So could someone actually go in and delete? Could he go in and delete everything so neither one of us could use it, right?
But because we have revision history, once I see who deleted it, I can go back in time and I can say, oh, there's everything.
And the students
Restore
see
this.
that revision.
Mhm. They can't alter it though.
So can you get it back?
Yeah. So right here, what I did is I went back and see revision history. Like if I wanted to take it back to this time, I click on it to see what it says, what it looks like, and then I say restore this revision. So I can go back to any revision.
So you can get it back.
Yeah.
That happened to us last
Mhm.
year at GAFE. We were sharing the document. We had to do it for SACs. And somebody deleted somebody's entrance in comments. And we never figured out. I know, I put it in there, but we didn't know how to go back and restore it.
You can always get it back. Anything that happens, you can always go in and get back with that revision history. Isn't that cool? Go ahead and take a look at your revision history. And I'm just going to give you 1 minute again on the timer to look at that revision history and ask me any individual questions. So go over to File and go down to Revision History, and then there's a little button that says See Detailed Revision History. Sharing the links. All right, next thing we'll do is how to download a Google document, and then just do a quick review of add-ons, and then we're going to be out of here because we're almost out of time. Is it letting you go up through the file? Oh, you did on the revision history. Did you check out that revision history? And play around with, you click on one of those revision histories, and then see where it says restore this version. Then you can go back to that version if that's what you want to do.
So did she share it?
Because in that folder, everybody actually shares it.
When I get documents, I use it, and I use it with minor changes or different things. Yeah, is there any way I can, you know, do I mean, just like the whole, I mean, like almost 5 different. I have, you know, kids that are way up, so they're. So can I print it one time, a different version, or do I use it 2 times?
Right, you could make a copy of each one of these and then make minor adjustments. So you just go to File. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, just go to File and well, I don't know why it's not letting me do it right now. X out of this revision history. Maybe it's make a copy. And then you okay, so
Same name. Made.
right. And then make any minor changes you want to those documents to meet the needs of those groups. And so it's real easy if you make your main document, then just go in there and make those minor things. All right. Well, crazy me, I didn't start the timer. Okay, so we're almost out of time. Just 2 more things, and then we're going to be out of here. All right, sometimes I have to download things into Microsoft format. I don't like to do it, but if you need to download it into a PDF form or whatever, you can go to File and download as, and you have several choices for that. So go to File and download as, and so then you can choose, I think you got to get out of revision history first before I'll let you do it. And then download as, click on download as, and then you're going to see you can download it as Microsoft Word or as a PDF or several other things that I don't even know what they are. And so if you're just wanting to download like a newsletter to send home, you know, and want it in PDF format, it's very easy to do that and it just downloads. Same thing with printing. You can print from this as well. You just go down to the print button and print the same way you would before. Last thing, add-ons. These are really, really cool. Click up there on the top where it says File, Edit, View. You're going to see add-ons, and you're going to say Get More Add-ons. There are tons and tons of add-ons in here you can do. EasyBib, you can click that add-on, and that's for doing, what is EasyBib, that's for citing your sources. So instead of the kids having to go out to another tab and go to EasyBib and do it to EasyBib and then transfer over to their document, you can add that as an add-on, and it's going to open EasyBib inside of your document. Have you used it?
My child had to do EasyBib because she was doing a term paper. Leave up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she had to use for her outline.
Right, but it opens it up inside of your Google document, right there, and you don't have to go outside of it. Math is one of the worst things to try to do on a computer, but this GMath actually allows you to write mathematical equations and to even put graphs and to plot graphs inside of Google Docs. GMath. Mm-hmm. So what I want you to do, as you have time, there are so many add-ons. I don't even know all of them, but please, there's a little search box up here. So if there's something that you think you might like, put it in, search for it, play around, see what it does. A lot of these, when you click on them, if you don't know what they are, they usually have a description and sometimes a little video that goes with them that explains what they are. And I haven't even had time to play with all of them. Our teachers, our third and fourth grade teachers are about to use Kaizenna. And Kaizenna is awesome because it allows you to record yourself grading their paper. It just picks up your voice and has their paper. And so you can actually have a one-on-one conference with every single kid in your classroom at the same exact time. So you're grading their paper, you're conferencing with the kid as if they're sitting next to you. And then what the third grade teachers do is once they've graded all their writing prompt responses and they've graded them with Kaizenna, well, not graded them, reviewed them with Kaizenna, the kids open up their computers, put in their headphones, and listen to the teacher talking to them as if they're sitting right next to them. So you can actually conference the kids with Kaizenna, and it's really awesome. So our time is up. We've actually gone a little over time. Are there any burning questions about the basics of Google Docs, how to share them, how to make one? Yes. Right, so let's take a look at that. Let's say, for instance, that I'm going to download this as a Microsoft Word document. Well, it might not work on my computer because I'm on a Mac. But then if I want to upload that document, I'm just going to go to New, File, Upload, and I'm going to find where that document is. And so there's my document. It's a Google Docs practice. I'm just going to double click on it, and it's going to upload it in the Word format. So you just go out, go to your Google Drive. Yeah, go back to Google Drive tab if you want to upload a document. Oh, yeah. You're good. Okay. You're just playing around with that. All right, y'all, thank you so very much for coming. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. But really, a lot of this is just getting in and playing around with it so you feel comfortable with it. But the add-ons are some of the best things I've seen. They're coming up with some really cool stuff that you can do. Next time, we're going to be looking at Google Slides, how to make Google presentations just like the one I was using with you today. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next Tuesday maybe. Have a safe drive home. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hunt me down if you need me for anything. I've got you. I know who's here.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Now I've got to find where the hangout is so I can stop.